Look at that under the sink cabinet. Go ahead, open it up. How many bottles are under there? Degreaser, stainless steel cleaner, rust remover, something for the hinges. Something in a fancy orange bottle that promises to get the gunk off everything. Some of those bottles cost $8, $10, $12 a piece, and half of them ran out before you even made a dent. I've got something in my garage right now, probably been sitting in yours too, that does most of what those bottles do. One can. About $7 or $8. And it lasts for a year or more the way I use it. WD-40. Now, before you roll your eyes and say you already know about it, you probably only know one thing about it. The squeaky hinge. That's what everybody knows. Spray it on the hinge stops squeaking. Fine. That's the least interesting thing it does. What I'm going to show you today is everything else, and by the time we're done, you're going to look at that can completely differently. Let me start with the kitchen, because that's where I was when this really clicked for me. My stainless steel refrigerator was driving me absolutely crazy. Fingerprints, every single time somebody touched it. I was buying those little spray bottles of stainless cleaner, the ones with the fancy label that tell you they're specifically formulated for stainless, and I kept buying them because they kept running out. One day I'd run out and had nothing on hand, so I tried a little WD-40 on a cloth and just wiped the fridge down. Fingerprints gone. And I mean gone, the surface looked better than it did with the stuff I'd been buying. It even leaves a light coating that slows the fingerprints from coming back. Spray a little on a cloth, not directly on the surface, and wipe. Stainless fridge, stainless sink, stainless anything. That's it. Wipe off the excess with a dry cloth when you're done. Takes 30 seconds. Same thing in the bathroom. Hard water spots on your chrome faucets. You know what I mean? That chalky white film that sits there no matter how many times you wipe it. Regular cleaner barely touches it. WD-40 cuts right through it. Spray a bit on a cloth, wipe the faucet, buff it dry. It leaves the metal looking like it just came out of the box, and it lays down a little water-resistant layer that keeps the spots from forming back as fast. I do this maybe once a month, and those faucets look better than they have in years. While we're in the bathroom, if you've got lime or mineral buildup in the toilet bowl, spray some WD-40 right in there. Let it sit for a minute or two, and scrub with your brush. It loosens that buildup right off. I know that sounds strange. Try it once. You'll see. Now, by the way, everything I just talked about, the little tricks that actually save you money in this house, I've got a whole book of them. Every method I use to run this place for less, written down in one place. It's on my website. The link is right below the video. Go grab it. I won't mention it again. Let's talk about stuck things. Because this is where WD-40 has saved me more times than I can count, and most people never think to use it for any of this. Got a drawer that sticks? One of those old wooden drawers that swells up in the summer and you have to yank it half out of the cabinet every morning? Pull it out all the way, spray a light coat on the side runners and the tracks. Slide it back in, it'll move like it did when it was new. Takes 20 seconds. No sanding, no replacing anything. Stuck zipper on a jacket or a bag. I had a bag I was about to throw out because the zipper was locked solid. A tiny bit of WD-40 along the zipper teeth, worked it back and forth a few times, and it opened like nothing ever happened. That bag is still in my hall closet. Key sticking in a lock? A lot of people don't know this one. Spray a little WD-40 right into the lock cylinder. Work the key in and out a few times. It cleans out whatever grit is making it drag, and coats everything so it turns smoothly. I do this to my front and back door locks once a year, and I've never had a problem with either of them. And this might be the most satisfying one, a rusted bolt or a rusted hinge that just will not budge. Spray WD-40 on it and let it sit. Give it 15 minutes at least. Better yet, overnight if you can wait. That oil works its way in between the rust and the metal, and it loosens the grip. I had an old garden gate I thought I was going to have to replace the hinge pin. Was rusted, completely seized. I soaked it with WD 43 times over 2 days, and that pin worked loose. Gate's still hanging. That was 4 years ago. Now, here's one most people would never think of. Crayon on the wall. If you've had kids in your house, you know this problem. You've got crayon marks on your painted walls, and you're standing there with a wet rag making it worse. WD-40. Spray a little on the mark. Let it sit about a minute. Wipe it away with a clean cloth. Then wipe the wall down with a little soapy water to clean the oil residue off. The crayon comes right off. Doesn't hurt the paint. This works on permanent marker on whiteboards too. Just spray it on, wipe, and the marker lifts off like it was never there. I've cleaned more whiteboards this way than I can count. Sticker residue, that sticky ghost that a price tag leaves behind after you peel it off. On glass, on wood, on plastic, doesn't matter. Spray WD-40 on it, let it sit a minute or two, and wipe it away. The stickiness is completely gone. I use this on mason jars, on windows, on the backs of picture frames. Works every time. Scuff marks on vinyl or tile floors. If you've got a black scuff from a shoe or furniture being dragged, spray a tiny amount on a cloth, not on the floor directly, because you do not want to slip on an oily floor and rub the scuff. It lifts right off. Then wipe the floor clean with a damp, soapy cloth. Works on vinyl and on tile. Don't do this on natural wood floors or stone, it'll soak in, and you don't want that. Stick to the hard sealed surfaces. Gum in hair. I know. But if you've got kids, someday this is going to be relevant. A little WD-40 on the gum. Work it in gently with your fingers, and the gum slides out without cutting anything. Wash the hair with dish soap right after to get the oil out. It works, and it's a lot less traumatic than scissors. Now let's go outside, because the garage and the yard are where WD-40 really earns its keep. Garden tools. Every fall, when you're putting things away for the season, wipe the metal parts of your shovels, rakes, and pruning shears down with WD-40. Just a cloth with a little on it, wipe it on and off. It pushes the moisture out of any small scratches or nicks in the metal and lays down a layer that keeps rust from taking hold over the winter. Pull those tools out in spring and they look the same as when you put them away. I've been doing this with the same set of tools for 15 years. Not a spot of rust on any of them. Same goes for the lawnmower blades. Before you mow, especially if the grass is damp at all, spray the underside of the mower deck and the blades with WD-40. Grass won't stick and clump up underneath. The mower runs cleaner, you're not scraping packed grass out from under there every time, and the blades stay in better condition. It takes about a minute before you start the mower. Snow shovel. Before the first big snow, spray the blade with WD-40. Snow slides right off instead of packing onto the shovel and getting heavier with every scoop. This is one of those things where you think that can't make that much difference, and then you try it and you cannot believe you've been shoveling without it your whole life. Patio furniture. If you've got plastic chairs or tables that have gone gray and faded looking, spray WD-40 on a cloth and wipe them down. The color comes back. It looks like you bought new furniture. Takes maybe 5 minutes for a whole set. Now, it's not a permanent fix, you'll do it again next season, but it beats spending $200 on new chairs. The wasps. This one I love. Before nesting season in spring, spray WD-40 under your eaves, along the overhang of the porch, anywhere you've had wasps build nests before. They won't build there. They can't get a grip on the surface to start a nest. I've had a back porch that used to have wasp nests every single year, and since I started doing this every spring, I haven't had one. That is worth its weight in gold to me. Now let me tell you where it won't work, because I'll always tell you the other side of it. WD-40 is not a permanent lubricant. On something like a door hinge that's carrying real weight and needs to keep moving long term, it'll stop the squeak, but the oil is thin and it'll dry out. For a hinge you want to stay quiet for years, come back with a little bit of grease or a heavier oil after you clean it with the WD-40. Use the WD-40 to clean and free it up, then follow with something that lasts. Don't use it on wood furniture or unsealed floors. It'll soak in, darken the wood, and you'll have a mess you didn't want. Don't use it on anything that's going to touch food without washing it thoroughly first. And don't spray it near an open flame. It's flammable. Treat it with the same common sense you'd give anything else you spray from a can. One more thing, and it's worth saying plainly. Look at what you paid for the last can of rust remover you bought, or the stainless cleaner, or the sliding door lubricant, or the wasp spray. Each one of those is a bottle designed to do one job. Each one runs out, and you buy another. That is a very good business model for them, not for you. One can of WD-40 does every single thing I just described. It costs about $7 or $8. One can, used the way I showed you, will last a good long time. The companies that sell you 9 separate single-purpose sprays would prefer you never make that connection. But now you have. So here's what I want you to do. Go find that can. Most of you already have one. If you don't, pick one up next time you're at the hardware store or even the grocery store. Don't get the tiny can, get the bigger one with the little red straw tucked alongside the nozzle. That straw is the most useful thing on there. It lets you aim right where you need it. Then look around your house this week with new eyes. Every time you're about to go buy something to fix a stuck thing, clean a surface, or protect something from rust, stop and ask yourself if WD-40 can do it first. 9 times out of 10, it can. Tell me in the comments what's the one thing you're going to try first. Or, if you've been using WD-40 for something I didn't mention, drop it down there. I always end up learning something from the comments on these videos, and I'd love to hear it.